Okay. Ooh, a little bit. All right, so I am going to call our regular council meeting to order for Tuesday, July 7th, 2026. The time being 7 o'clock, and we are here at the municipal office council chambers. A little bit echoey. At 52 Front Street. So just the clerk's note here, the regular meeting of council originally scheduled for June 23rd, 2026 was postponed due to unforeseen circumstances. Notice of the postponement and rescheduled meeting was provided through the township's website, Facebook page, and Voyant Alert, a notification system. This meeting constitutes the rescheduled regular meeting of council. So that's just why people might notice on our website. It's a different date than what was the original council meeting was scheduled for. We do have a lot of business to cover, so we decided to reschedule it for today. So we're going to start with our land acknowledgement. In the spirit of reconciliation, the corporation of the township of Nipigon respectfully acknowledges it is located on the traditional lands of the Red Rock Indian Band, signatory to the Robinson Superior Treaty of 1850. And the township further respectfully acknowledges the historic presence of other signatories on these lands. Okay. We'll start with item number one. Are there any addendums to the agenda this evening? Number two, disclosures of pecuniary interest. Does anyone have any disclosure of pecuniary interest this evening? I am declaring one disclosure here on item number 4F. So it's under council business memorandum of understanding Superior Country in regards to the Tourism Information Center due to the fact that my employer is Superior Country. So I'll be stepping out for that, and our deputy mayor Lance Hart, Councillor Hart, will be taking over for that section. And I've given my paper notice to our CEO. Next, number 3, approval of previous council minutes for June 9th, 2026. Does anyone have any discussion on that? Anything they want to point out there? Okay. All right, so we have a resolution to approve these minutes. Who would like to move? Resolution. Councillor Harper, who would like to second? Councillor Westhaver. So this is resolution 2026-140, moved by Councillor Harper, seconded by Councillor Westhaver. Be it resolved that this council approves regular meeting minutes of June 9th, 2026 as presented. All in favor? Opposed? And carried. Okay. Okay, next this is item 4A. We have our student counselor report. So our last meeting was to be our student council members last meeting. So today as of today or last week, they're 2 weeks ago. Our last meeting date was supposed to be their last day. So they're not actually attending this meeting today as student counselors. Their terms are up, but they would like to deliver the reports that they meant to deliver at the last meeting. So I would like to introduce our first student counselor, Sasha Barber, and she is going to present her report. If you could turn on your...
And yours as well.
Yeah, but she's far away. Okay. Just don't shout into it because I think the volume's a bit loud.
2 things I've learned over the past 9 months as a student counselor are how expensive things can be and the amount of work and thought that goes into every little decision made about our town. After living in this town my whole life, there are so many things I have always had in our small town that I have just taken for granted. Over the past 9 months, I have personally witnessed the hard work of not only the council members, but also our town workers who work incredibly hard to make sure our town has the amenities it has. I have grown way more appreciative of everything our town has to offer, and I have immense respect for the people who make it possible. I have also learned about how expensive everything Everything is new plows, new curbs, new garbage trucks, all of those prices to replace these had my job. I like that as a student counselor, we had some input into the decisions that were made. Peyton and I played a key role in planning the scholarship award to a Nipissing graduate, which was a great achievement. We have also had ideas for other projects, such as installing a glass the kiosk and involving high school students in various community activities, which were welcomed with open arms by the council and staff. One thing I disliked about being a student counselor was the limited authority we have in making decisions, often coming up with creative and exciting ideas to improve our community. Many of them were difficult to put into action. Budget restrictions, policies, and the small size of the community often meant that even strong ideas were not realistic or sustainable. It could be frustrating to spend time planning initiatives that ultimately could not move forward, but it also taught me the importance of considering practical limitations and finding solutions that work within available resources. The decision made by the council that, in my opinion, had a big impact on people was allowing individuals to eliminate the geese on the golf course. An incredible number of people, including myself, use the golf course daily, and I have noticed that the courses look much clearer and have no geese hitting the grass or lying on the greens. This was a small movement that I completely agreed with, and it had an impact on everyone who golfs. Now you don't hit hoping you injure a goose or get chased while trying to find your ball, which has happened to me, and it's scary. Yes. I think the biggest problem youth face in Nipissing is boredom, especially youth in high school. Most find there's little to do in Nipissing, which leads them to resort to causing problems for entertainment. I understand that there are non-problem causing ways for entertainment. Unfortunately, mostly that it's not. A potential solution to this problem would be to offer a couple more activities that all ages would find enjoyable, such as bowling alley or a movie theater. And lastly, I want to thank all of the council members for giving me this opportunity to become a student counselor. I have learned so much from this experience and will continue to appreciate everything you all do for our.
Thank you. You're welcome. Does anyone have any questions or comments for Councilor Barber? Former Councilor Barber.
Yeah. Yeah. When are you running for mayor?
Couple years. She's 18.
Couple of years.
Yeah.
I'll go right
here.
here. And I'll probably.
Oh, the fan blew over your
Yeah.
foot. That's okay.
I think she's heading to your speech.
Yeah.
We need.
I had the vision of her getting chased by the goose there.
It's terrifying.
It is scary. Okay, our second counselor, Peyton Dumont Saunders, will now deliver her reports.
During my 9 months as a student counselor, I learned a lot about simple government works and decision making. Before joining the council, I did not realize how much discussion, planning, and research goes into each decision. I also learned the importance of communication and teamwork. Council members often have different opinions, and it is important to listen respectfully and work together to find solutions that benefit this community. What I enjoyed most about being a student counselor was having the opportunity to represent youth in Nipissing and share our perspectives and with the council. It was rewarding to know that young people's voices could be heard and considered when discussing community issues. I also enjoyed learning more about what is happening in the town and seeing how local leaders move to improve the community for everyone. One thing I disliked about being a student counselor was that some projects and decisions took a long time to complete. Even when there's a good idea, there are often many steps that need to happen before any action can be taken. While I understand why this is important, it could sometimes feel slow, especially when community members wanted to see results quickly. A decision that had a big impact on the people of Michigan was council's decision to bring a rolling veterinary clinic into town. This was important because many pet owners have to travel long distances to access veterinary services, which can be difficult, expensive, and time-consuming. Having a mobile vet clinic visit the community makes it easier for residents to get care for their pets close to home. I agreed with this decision because it helps both animals and their owners. Pets are an important part of many families, and access to veterinary clinics or veterinary care is necessary to help them keep healthy and safe. I think bringing a rolling vet clinic to Dubuque is a practical solution that benefits a large number of residents and improves services available in the community. I believe one of the biggest challenges facing youth in Michigan is a limited number of activities, programs, and opportunities available outside of school. This can lead to boredom and make it difficult for young people to stay engaged with their community. The impact is felt on youth, families, and community as a whole because young people may feel disconnected or less motivated to participate in local events. My recommended solution would be to increase youth-focused programs, recreational activities, and volunteer opportunities, providing more ways to youth to get involved and help them develop new skills, build friendships, and feel more connected to their community.
Okay, thank you, Peyton. Does anyone have any questions or comments for Peyton?
Oh, I kind of just up for both of them. I've enjoyed having you guys here. I hope you talk somebody into it for next round if you don't want to do it again. But no, we enjoyed having you guys.
I want to thank you guys on behalf of our council and staff for committing every couple of weeks to coming to the meetings, and you did attend like honestly 90% of them. So good job on that, and for your input was very appreciated as well. And as Councillor Westhaver said, I'll be visiting the school in September to talk to different civics classes to try and recruit the next counselors. So if you could put in a good word for the position, we'd be very much appreciative of that.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
Thank you very much, girls. And if you can stay if you wish, or if you need to be somewhere else, you're more than welcome to
Yeah.
oh, turned off the microphone.
Yeah.
Not that it's, I think I turned everything off completely, but sorry about that. Okay. Bye, guys.
Thank you.
Very much. Yeah, have a good summer.
Thanks, ladies. Have a good one.
Yes. Okay, next item, 4B, CEO Administration Report 2026-070701. 2026 Property Tax Implementation Bylaws. So, oh, sorry, I forgot we have to pass a resolution to accept the girls' reports. Sorry about that, guys. Who would like to move to accept? Councillor Hart, second. Councillor Cartwright. So this is resolution 2026-141, moved by Councillor Hart, second by Councillor Cartwright. Be it resolved that this council receives final reports of student councillors Sasha Barbara and Peyton Dion Saunders for information. And the council expresses its sincere appreciation to both student councillors for their dedication, thoughtful participation, and valuable contributions throughout the 2025-26 term. All in favor? Opposed? And carried. All right. So now we have our property tax and limitation bylaws. So you want to talk a little bit
Sure, I
about
can
this?
give a brief introduction.
Sure.
So you have before you a raft of bylaws that are necessary to implement the property taxes for the 2026 operating and capital budget. These collectively implement the budget decision and authorize the collection of the property taxes. They establish the tax ratios, optional property tax policies under Municipal Act 2001. Deputy Treasurer Henrikin is here if you have any questions about the minutia of those bylaws. They haven't really changed much. We just sort of keep them moving forward. We establish the municipal tax rates, levy the taxes, and provide for the collection of those taxes. The final tax bills will go out toward the end of this month for collection at the end of August and the end of October. Thank you. These bylaws complete the operating and capital budgetary process. After the presentation of the budget at our last council meeting, it was pointed out to me that we have an existing somewhat outdated notice bylaw on the books that requires the public notice a week in advance of passing the budget to be printed in the local newspaper. That notice has since been printed, and so included in these bylaws are the schedules related to that budget, so we can complete the legislative process for actually passing the budget by bylaw. If there are any questions about the bylaws in general or the budget that we approved by resolution at our last council meeting, or any of the bylaws in particular, myself or Deputy Treasurer Henderson are happy to answer those questions.
Okay, does anyone have any questions for our CAO or for our deputy treasurer? In regards to the bylaws? Okay, so we have a resolution to receive the CAO report respecting the 2026 property tax and limitation bylaws for information, and then we're going to pass these bylaws with this resolution as well. So who would like to move to this one? Councilor Hart? Who would like to second? Councilor Westaver. So this is resolution 2026-142, moved by Councilor Hart, seconded by Councilor Westaver. Be it resolved that this council receives CAO administration report number 2026-070701 respecting the 2026 property tax implementation bylaws for information, and that council gives first, second, and third readings to the following bylaws. Bylaw number 23-2 being a bylaw to establish the 2026 tax ratios. Number 2, bylaw number 2033 being a bylaw respecting optional property tax classes. Number 3, bylaw number 2034 being a bylaw establishing tax rate reductions for prescribed property subclasses. Number 4, bylaw number 2035 being a bylaw adopting the 2026 operating and capital budget, establishing the 2026 tax rates and levying taxes for municipal purposes. Number 5, bylaw number 2036 being a bylaw respecting the collection of 2026 property taxes. All in favor? Opposed? And carried. Okay, all right, next, we have, another report from our CAO, so this is report, 2026-070702. Which is a departmental quarterly report guidelines for, so 2026 quarterly report, departmental report guidelines. So maybe you can just explain that a little bit for us, Tim.
Sure. Thank you, Your Worship. So you have before you a policy to guide quarterly departmental reports. And one thing that the administration didn't have in place when I arrived was a process for department heads to report regularly to council on operations outside of reports requesting resources or looking for council direction. And so to improve council staff relations, to provide a mechanism for department heads to report on their operations, to report on implementation of council decisions or directions, and to identify future concerns or highlight operational issues. I'd like to implement the quarterly departmental reports sort of that you have before you. These reports will officially take form following the completion of this quarter, so at the end of September. We will, for our next council meeting, have some departmental reports, quarterly departmental reports to be presented as sort of a trial run of practice for our economic development officer, our recreation and culture manager, and our public works superintendent, where they're going to report on their operations for the past quarter. It'd be an opportunity for you to ask questions about programming, about the policies that have been implemented. If there's been council direction, it'll be a chance for you to get follow-up on how well they've been able to implement those plans, any obstacles they've encountered. And they can highlight and flag for you any sort of future operational issues they might have related to staffing or facilities or any of the sort of myriad responsibilities they oversee. You will have these departmental reports following the conclusion of the next quarter from the 3 department heads I mentioned, also from the fire chief and also from myself reporting on the administration. So there'll be 5 reports in total. And the content of the reports, as the guideline makes clear, will vary depending on the department. Each of our departments sort of has differently structured responsibilities. And so they'll be reporting on them in their own ways, but following a general template. The intent is that over time, these reports will get stronger and we'll have a firmer empirical basis where they're able to report on what are generally described as key performance indicators. So we'll be able to compare from quarter to quarter and from this year's quarter to past year's quarter, things like enrollment in recreation programming, number of times the ice is rented out, our response to snow removal, and the number of people at the Tourism and Information Center. And, you know, in my case, on bylaws that we've passed, on policies that we've implemented or revised, on marriage licenses we've issued, so that we can better understand how we're spending our resources, the kinds of results that we're getting, and adjust our operations accordingly. This is sort of, from my perspective, considered best practice. It's particularly in larger municipalities, so it's something we're going to implement here. You know, staff are looking forward to doing these reports, in part because it's important that they have a direct reporting relationship with council. That's how their employment agreements are structured. They don't report to me directly, they report to council. And so reinforcing that with, you know, a quarterly report and to give you the opportunity to ask questions at that time. So if there are any questions about the report or about their content, I'm happy to answer them. And again, you will have 3 of these in sort of a draft form for next week's session.
Anyone have any questions?
I have one question.
Go ahead, Councilor Burger.
Just so keep track of things too for us, right? So things don't fall off the wayside or, you know.
That's exactly right.
Yeah,
It's
you know, we say it's a project, we get an update, this is where we are. And then we'd get another one, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
so
think
you'll-
it'll be a good value to not have things fall off the side of the mountain.
That's right. It's an important accountability mechanism for, you know, staff and council for us to report on initiatives and for us to report if we're having difficulty with implementation.
Right.
If we run into obstacles or roadblocks, we can report on it. And so that things don't, you know, kind of slide off the desk, which happens a lot in small and busy administrations. And so it's that
You're wearing
mechanism.
many hats, right?
Yeah.
You know, so one of your hats could fall off.
Yeah.
No disrespect.
No, hats don't fit
Yeah.
me, so, yeah.
Have any questions for? Yeah, so I just have a couple of comments. I think this is a really good idea. I do feel like sometimes we don't want to ask for updates because we feel like, you know, if there was an issue, we'd be sort of told about it, but it's also nice to get, you know, shouldn't always be an issue, it should just be, you know, if there's progress on something or if there's not progress on something, both things should be reported on. I think it's gonna be very valuable. A couple of issues I can think about that have happened over the past, well, during our term that probably could have been prevented had there been some regular reporting done. So I think that will help, and it's kind of timely because I was just at a Thunder Bay District Municipal League meeting on Saturday in an in-person one in Scriber. And one of the questions they had was about how each municipality is doing with the fire training that was supposed to be happening in July 1st. And I realized I have no idea. I don't know because we've not received a report about it. And I was a bit embarrassed that everyone else seemed to know, but I didn't know mine. So I just think that it's helpful for us in knowing what's going on and when we're making decisions and when we're you know, talking with other municipalities too about how things are going with them. That helps, and I'm a big data person too. I know it helps with applying for grants to have real numbers as opposed to saying, oh, there was good turnout. But what does good turnout mean? It's relative, right? So it could be 200, it could be, you know, 20 people. Really, and it takes some time to focus on numbers, but once you get into the habit of doing it and reporting on it, I guess to say too, it gets a lot easier, and you have those numbers in your reports. So it's not like you have to go back to notebooks and try to figure out what, you know, if you're applying for a grant, you can go back to your report and say, oh yeah, okay, so there were this many people, whether that's like the veterinary clinic or the March break or the pool or the tick or whatever, right? So I think this is really good, and I'm very happy that it's being completed. So thank you very much.
Sounds like me with the sound, didn't with you.
Yeah. Yeah, we have a lot of moving parts,
Yeah.
especially all year long, not just in the summertime, so it does help to get updates on different things. Yeah, for sure. Okay, so I think everyone's good for that. We have a resolution for to receive the report. And that we approve the quarterly departmental reporting guidelines. Attached to the report. Who would like to move this? Councilor Westhaver. And who would like to second? Councilor Harper. So resolution 2026-143 moved by Councilor Westhaver, second by Councilor Harper. Be resolved that this council receives CAO administration report number 2026-070702. Respecting quarterly departmental reporting guidelines. And that council approves the quarterly departmental reporting guidelines attached to the report. And further that, beginning with the reporting period ending September 30th, 2026. Each municipal department shall prepare and submit quarterly departmental reports in accordance with the guideline. And further, that the chief administrative officer be authorized to make such minor administrative revisions to the guideline and reporting template as may be necessary, provided such revisions do not alter the purpose or reporting frequency established by council. All in favor? Opposed? And carried. Okay, look forward to receiving the first set of reports.
Who came up with that? It's a great idea.
I think
Yeah.
RCAO did.
Yeah.
Thank you,
Yeah.
Ken.
Very good.
Great idea. Love it. Love it. Okay, next, we have dependable emergency vehicles, fire rescue truck, the OI. Okay, so, this is to execute a non-binding letter of intent with dependable emergency vehicles respecting the proposed purchase of a mini rescue apparatus. Okay. Does anyone have any questions about that? So it's the supply and delivery of one dependable, I hope it's dependable.
Yep.
He's right in the name.
Yeah.
What a great brand name, right? And would you like to have a?
Yeah, just a short comment. So this is included in your package. You've approved in the capital budget an expenditure of $275,000 for this rescue truck. The price before you is the price for the truck and the body. There are some additional add-ons which will push the price over the $275,000 threshold by approximately $5,000 to $10,000. Final numbers to be determined. It's just the inclusion of the shelving units and the lights. Although this is non-binding as a letter of intent, it signals that we're interested in the truck. I'm working with the fire chief and the deputy fire chief and the captain to determine exactly what shelving is required. So we know the final price. You'll have a final purchase order to approve, but just knowing and for this letter of intent that the approved budget of $275,000 will likely be exceeded by $5,000 to $10,000, depending on where we end up on exactly how many types of shelves and different shelves. And they try to explain to me the differences among them. So that's why it's in your package.
Okay, does anyone have any questions about that one? Okay, so we'll gotta have a resolution for this. So again, this is to execute a non-binding letter of intent with the dependable emergency vehicles. Who would like to move this? Okay, Councilor Harper. Who would like to second? Councilor Cartwright. Resolution 2026-144 moved by Councilor Harper, seconded by Councilor Cartwright. Be resolved that this council authorizes the mayor and chief administrative officer to execute a non-binding letter of intent with dependable emergency vehicles respecting the proposed purchase of a mini rescue apparatus. All in favor? Opposed? And carried. Next time. Item E is a Parks Canada Visitor Experience License Agreement. I think this is something we normally have in front of us each year because they use some of our property, including the lookout area and the marina, to deliver programming, which is very wonderful. They've got the Voyager canoe program on the Nipigon River that's launching out of our marina this summer. It's a new program, so that's very exciting. It's good to see that they're developing new things each year to bring people into town. This is pretty much, like I said, is there any difference from last year's, just a renewal pretty much, right? Okay. Any questions?
Is there, were they responsible for that, easy little dog?
No.
That's ours.
That's.
Yeah.
Just wondering.
They probably use it
Yeah.
to launch their Voyager community. Maybe they don't. I think they use the dock, but anyways, it's bigger than, it's mostly kayaks.
Yeah.
Smaller things. Okay, so who, if there are no other questions or comments, who would like to move the resolution to approve the licensing? Councillor Hart, second it? Would like to second. Okay, this is resolution 2026-145, moved by Councillor Hart, seconded by Councillor Harper. Be resolved that this council approves the license agreement between the Corporation of the Township of Nipigon and His Majesty the King and Right of Canada, represented by the Minister of the Environment for the purposes of the Parks Canada Agency, and that the Mayor and Chief Administrative Officer be authorized to execute the agreement and any ancillary documents necessary to give effect thereto. All in favor? Opposed? And carried. Okay, so this is item 4F, which I will be stepping out for, as I mentioned earlier, due to pecuniary interests that I'm declaring. So I will move this resolution hand it over to our Deputy Mayor Hart. And I will return when pass summons.
We won't forget.
Okay, don't forget about me. Okay, so
Okay, this resolution is for a memorandum of understanding between the Corporation of Township of Nipigon and Superior Country about Operation Tourist Information Center for the 2026 season with our summer students and Superior Country.
Sure.
You want to fill us in on this?
Yeah, sure. Happy to sort of give an introduction. As we sort of planned to open the TIC, it was a question of how best we could staff the TIC. One option was having one of my full-time staff members down at the TIC. That poses certain challenges because, our economic development officer has other responsibilities and so wouldn't be able to be there on a full-time basis to oversee the students, to provide training and to make sure that they're delivering the tourism direction services as we would like them to. I initiated discussions with the executive director of Superior Country to talk about possible arrangements that we could make with them. And so the memorandum of understanding that you have in front of you is sort of a document that we developed where Superior Country agreed to be on site for 4 days during the week. While they're on site, they would oversee the students, they would provide direction and support and training. The students would remain our responsibilities as township employees. And so they report to us. We look after their scheduling. We deal with scheduling conflicts or vacation time or illness. And in the current arrangement on Fridays and Saturdays, the township has a full-time staff person there. Our economic development officer, Bell, will be on site so that we can provide oversight for the students. The concern was, I think in years past, there have been occasions where the students have been there on their own, delivering tourism services, and there's a sense in which that's not fair to them. That's perhaps more responsibility than they can take on, certainly at the start of the tourism season. And so this was a way for us for the months of July and August, to deliver tourism services at the TIC, to reopen the TIC, importantly, and also in what I consider to be a very township-friendly price. The fee being charged by Superior Country is $5,000 for the 2 months, which, from my perspective, is a very fair deal, perhaps more than a fair deal for the township, and in having somebody on site at the TIC for us. And we opened July 2nd. So the memorandum of understanding in front of you, I did sign. I have the authority to bind for a contract of this size, but I still wanted to be in front of council to ensure that council has the opportunity to approve it. But we did open July 2nd. It's been busy. We've had a lot of visitors through, lots of questions about about hiking and trails, about boat charters, people not just using, including flies apparently. Um, So, so far it's off to a very good start, and the two students are doing a great job, by all accounts. So we're very pleased, and we're grateful to Spear Country for taking this on, for this kind of as a, sort of as a trial run. What does the TIC look like open for 2 months? What kind of data do we have? How many visitors are through? How many people are stopping to ask questions? What are our returns like? And so that we can make an informed decision going into next year about, can we open it for a longer
The numbers
season?
will be interesting.
Yeah.
Yes.
And we can compare from previous years when Spirit Country was there on a full-time basis. I recommend that the memorandum of understanding in front of you be approved. And then we can report at the end of the tourism season on how well it's done.
More questions?
I guess that. I guess that they will do like the hiring, or are they gonna just have a couple of people there from Superior Country that already work for them? I'm not sure.
Sure. The agreement with Superior Country is that they will have a full-time staff member present there. It's up to the executive director to decide who's going to be there. There are various provisos that apply to that. So it's 4 days a week. In the MOU it should have kind of their hours of operation, scheduling around holidays. And so it sort of delineates exactly what their commitment is. And then our intention is to supply township staff around that. So, for example, our economic development officer, Bell, has agreed to flex her work week. So rather than working Mondays, she's working Saturdays there, for which we're very grateful. That's not something we can demand, but we appreciate it as an offer. I'll also be available too in case of emergency, so we can make sure that the students have support, from sort of full-time employees, either ourselves or those of Superior Country, while they're there.
It's really hard to, even for me, you drive by that, you won't know it's open or not. I don't know what can be done about that, but I just wonder how many tourists whiz by, because it's, it's got the gas stations and everything, they just maybe don't even notice it. Do you find that too? Sometimes you don't even notice that there's a car sitting there.
I noticed cars sitting there, that actually, I'm surprised how many cars are sitting there at the charging stations. We take our quad, I always go to get the road dogs and then the tourists wave at our little dogs and their little carriers, that part. But I'm surprised at how many cars are actually at the charging station there, so I do see them there. I don't go past it because it's not the path that I take, so I don't know what it's like coming from the highway. I'm seeing our road, so I don't know. If if it looks open or not.
Yeah, it's sort of tucked away there. And
There was open signs, but
There-
the vertical ones?
There's a sign out by the road,
Yeah.
which is fairly small, and then there's also a lit sign in the window. So I can talk with EDO Bell about if perhaps we could do like a sandwich board maybe that we can just put out in the morning and then take down in the evening for.
Because I think there's some kind of pillars there, but it's just a small open at the bottom, and
Yeah,
colors aren't necessarily even.
no, that's
I
worth.
don't even know if that's still
Yeah.
there.
So I'll speak with EDO Bell. Maybe we can do some kind of increased signage, like just a sandwich board that we put up.
a little light, that flashes and
Yeah.
not something bold, but just to catch the tourist eyes.
Yeah.
Because most of the time they're just guiding through gasoline alley and looking at restaurants and stuff. But that's kind of, I don't know, it's just tucked out of the way there.
Although I know just from our experiences in getting it ready to be opened, people stop in all the time expecting it to be open. I mean, they see
There is a demographic that looks for that, and
they see that familiar architectural style that can only be a tourism information center,
Yeah,
and they
yeah.
immediately kind of pull in and they want to use the restrooms and they want some information about tourism activities in the area. So it's nice that we're actually open and able to answer those questions, because we did have some people coming while we were going through the process of cleaning and getting the facility ready, for traffic. So, because it's been a few years.
You look at Cherry Fox, that, you know, that's the grabber that gets people going up there.
Yeah.
No. So we don't have a grabber here.
I'll make a note of that. Thank you.
Okay, okay. So, the resolution. Be it resolved that the council approves the memorandum of understanding between the corporation and the township of Nipigon and Superior Country. Respecting the operation of the tourism information center for the 2026 summer season. And that the acting mayor and chief administrative officer be authorized to execute the memorandum of understanding on behalf of the township. Do I have a mover? And ready?
You beat me.
Councillor Cartwright and Councillor Westhaver seconds. All those in favor? Pass.
This will get.
What am I supposed to sign this?
Yeah.
Thank you. Okay, moving on to item 5A. So we have Thunder Bay. This is May 21st, 2026, the District of Thunder Bay Social Services Administration regular meeting minutes. This is just for information. Does anyone have any comments with those minutes? Okay, item 6A under recreation, we have May 25th, 2026. Nipigon Recreation Committee minutes. Which I was at that meeting, so if anyone has any questions or comments. Basically announcing who the summer staff are for the pool. All right, so if there are no questions or concerns or comments, we have a resolution here to receive those minutes. Who would like to move? Councillor Hart, who would like to second? Councillor Harper. Resolution 2026-147 moved by Councillor Hart, seconded by Councillor Harper. Be resolved that this council receives the May 25th, 2026 Recreation Committee minutes for information. All in favor? Opposed? Thank you. Okay. All right, so that concludes our regular part of our council meeting on the open side of things. So before we go to close, I'll just go around as usual and ask anyone if they have any other business. So we'll start to my right. Councillor Hart, do you have any other business?
I do not.
Okay. Councillor Westhaver,
I'm still wondering about that property out there, what's going on,
which property?
the Etiquette.
We can't discuss identifiable.
Oh, yeah, just asking. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. No, this, just the signage is different.
Okay, that would be opposed. I mean,
Okay.
we can't identify individuals in their discussions. Okay, anything else? No, Councillor Cartwright? Okay. I did have something, okay, so just wanted to see, so for next meeting, would we be able to see a veterinary clinic report potentially?
I believe so. I know that EDO Bell is working on it.
Okay.
Just kind of putting together the final numbers, coming up with, sort of a kind of a summary table. So I expect we'll have the report for our next meeting.
Sounded very successful from what I read about it.
Yeah,
That was awesome.
yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The,
Yep.
45 people in Plain Valley do it.
Well, there was, it was like
Number.
45, maybe 45% or something like that.
Oh, okay.
I can't remember the exact numbers, but it was the first highest amount was from Nipigon, which is good.
Yeah,
Because
yeah,
we put lots of effort into it. And then the second most attendees were from Thunder Bay.
Yeah.
And then sort of,
Obviously very well needed the way,
yeah,
or very much needed.
yeah, I know myself and Councillor Cartwright were volunteering and a lot of people that came in were thanking us for having this, and also when will the next one be? Are you going to do this again? So I'm hoping that we can do it on an annual. I think, you know, biannual would be a lot. It's a lot of work for our staff.
But even if it was yearly, it would be something
Yeah.
that people could look forward to.
Exactly. that
They
they
were
could
gonna
plan.
entertain the thought that maybe,
Snake
literally,
eaters.
yeah, that would be awesome too, because
Mhm.
you hear, from what I'm hearing anyway, that's a big request that people could really use that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's awesome that it's worked out, awesome, really good.
We have people that's from as far away as Manitowoc, Armstrong.
Yeah,
Take it back up.
it shows you the
Yeah.
need, eh? Wow.
What else? Yeah, I think that's, I probably had a note on what I was gonna talk about for the last meeting, so I'm not gonna really go back to my notes. Okay, well, we're having a meeting next week, so if that's anything, I can make note of it. Okay, so that was it for me, just looking forward to that report. All right, so we're going to move into closed session if we could, so who would like to move this? Councillor Cartwright and seconded by Councillor Westhaver. So resolution 2026-148, moved by Councillor Cartwright, seconded by Councillor Westhaver, be resolved that this council now resolves into closed session pursuant to section 239 2C of the Municipal Act 2001 to discuss a proposed or pending acquisition or disposition of land by the municipality. All in favor? Opposed? And carried.